the funner part of your band rehearsal than when everybody gets up to go take smoke breaks or hopefully water breaks now and all that, and like instantly I want to get behind the drums and someone else wants to play the B3, and it's
what is that? Like, why do we do that? Because you're totally right. You just want to grab the other person's instrument.
I mean, I have you ever read the book, Kenny Warner's book, Effortless Mastery?
We have been doing a lot of interviews this week,
and I'm sure it's been brought up.
That book is a constant.
And God bless you, Kenny Warner. It's a great book, and it has a lot to say that makes a lot, and not all of it. I do not follow that book 100%, as I'm sure everybody said, but one of the biggest things Kenny talks about that stuck out to me is exactly that like what happens when the band rehearsal stops, and he's like, everybody can be world-class musicians and playing at a really high level, but just not having the day they want to have.
Yeah.
And man, that rehearsal, you'll go on break and everybody's dark. Like, those days, like, man, I'm just not feeling myself and it's not happening.
Yeah.
And then he's like, but magically everybody switches instruments. It sounds horrible, but everybody's having a blast and smiling. And it has to do with because you haven't put that label on yourself. You haven't defined yourself.
Right.
When I'm playing the drums, I have no ego about if I sound good or if I want to sound good. And it's because I'm not a drummer. So if you're over there like, man, Travis, you played the most hilarious fill. What do I care? I'm not a drummer. I'm just having fun.
You're detached from the outcome in a way that you're not when you're going all in.
100%. And we're also defined by that.
Yeah.
I'm a bass player. I want to be known as a good bass player. Thus, you want to sound good.
Yeah.
And that's where Kenny's book, which I do recommend, gets kind of heavy into your psyche it's about, of course, we all want to sound good. Nobody wants to sound bad. But if you go up there wanting to sound good, you're already setting yourself up for something. You should go in. I mean, if you've been putting in the time and know that you're playing, you should go into situations ready to play and have fun. And it's not about like being I have to give the best performance of my life. It's about like getting back into that headspace where you're just creating and having fun again. Trying to find that kid that plays drums and B3 and guitar and,
It's such a, Travis, I've talked to a lot of people and I've lived a few years and I've never really heard. I read Kenny Warner's book when it first came out. I don't recall that portion, but that is so amazing because it really does it really does instantly bring you to the joy of, wow, I'm just creating music without the label. And I think it's a lot of people, especially amateur musicians, a lot of which will be watching this video, they're hung up. We all are, but they're really hung up like, oh, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to like look foolish. I don't want to, and it's like you said, you're identified by that. And if you could detach yourself somehow.
Yeah.
So now you go and going, well, I'm going to play the guitar and I've really been practicing this song, but I'm just going to go at this like I've never done it before. And let's just see what happens.
Yeah. And there's a good chance you haven't if you're an amateur, which is great. Like that's exactly the attitude you should have.